Hi, I'm Steve from the Thrillseekers, also known as Hydra. Some of you might know that I've recently released a new album called Altered States, and as part of this project I've also released a sample pack which basically provides you with all the sounds and samples that I made throughout the album to use in your own productions. So for example, there's a whole bunch of kick drums, snares, claps, all the loops that I made I've broken down into layers for you to use, all the effects. You have lots of noise-based effects, pads, luscious pads treated with reverb. You also have a whole bunch of presets as well that I made for Diva and also for Repro 1 and Repro 5. So all in all, there's 1.4 gigabytes of sample material for you to use in your own productions. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you what you get. So let me just flick to the screen here so you can see what's going on. So basically, if you know the album, then there are basically 8 main tracks on disc 1. So you have these broken down here. So if we go into the first track, for example, then you can go into the drums and percussion and you can see all these sounds broken down that I've used from that particular track. If I go into the effects section, then these are all the effects that I made. And further on we have pads and atmospheres that I made, and then you have the MIDI also. So the MIDI's there really for you to just kind of load into your DAW. Doesn't matter if it's Ableton Live or Cubase or Logic, it will all work the same. And just to see how I've kind of arranged the melodies, so you can use that just for educational purposes really. So what I thought I would do in this video would be to just basically use the sounds. We'll start a track from scratch and see where it goes. Any questions, then please do ask in the comments below and I'll get back on all of these. Some of you might know also that I had a Facebook group called The Making of Hydra. So over the past 2 years I've been recording videos as well. And I have all these videos edited now, so also available in addition to this sample pack are 25 videos. They range from between like 40 minutes and an hour and 10 minutes. So all my secrets, the way I do everything, are revealed, so that's also available. So I'll put all the links in the descriptions below, but any questions do ask and I'll get back to you, each and every one of you, when I've got this video done. So what I thought I would do here is we'll dive into Cubase, and I've basically started with a very simple arpeggio which I've made with one of the sounds that comes with the pack anyway. So I'll just play you what I have. So you get the idea there. It's a very simple arpeggio. So that's one of the sounds that comes with Repro. It's from Repro 5, isn't it? Of course. So what I thought we'd do is go through the we'll go through the first couple of sounds, sorry, the first couple of tracks that happen to be in the key of F minor, which this arpeggio is based in F minor. So I don't know if you guys know Cubase or not, but on the right hand side we can see a file browser of some of the sounds that we have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dive into the pads folder and just drag some of these sounds in. So for example, let's go with this FM granular sweep. Oh. Okay, I quite like the sound of that. So this is called Cryo Lush. So I'm going to just drag that in onto a track here. So let's have a look. So I've not planned anything here, guys. I'm just literally going along like I'm making a whole track from the start, but just really just to give you an idea of the types of sounds that you can expect to find on this sample pack. So the arpeggio pluck is in the key of F minor. This is just an F minor pad, one of many that you'll find on the sample pack. So I'm just going to see if that sits over the top of the loop. So we'll give it a try. Okay, so so that's kind of working very nicely. That's just one example. Let's just drag in another one as well. Basically, I can click on these here and just see what they sound like. Okay, just for the sake of the example, I'm going to chuck in this one as well. So this one is called Cascades, also from the first track, which is called Standing on the Edge of Space. If you guys haven't heard my album Altered State, then please do check it out. I'll also put those in the links below where you can just, you know, it's on Spotify, iTunes, all the rest of the places. All the usual places, including my website as well. So if you haven't heard the album, check it out. And if you listen to the whole album, basically all the drums, all the effects, all the pads, all the plucks that you hear, they're all on this sample pack. They're all mix ready, so in terms of EQ, you don't really have to do an awful lot. They're going to sit beautifully in the mix without really having to do a lot of work. So I'm just going to start building up an idea to show you how this might fit together in some of your own productions. Okay, I don't know why my computer's deciding to glitch when I change track, but I'll worry about that later. So another thing I'm going to do straight away is put in a sub bass just to kind of underpin the chords. Again, this is a sound which is from Repro 5. Again, it's one of the presets that you'll find in the package. So I'm just going to basically just put a sub bass in, and you can kind of, yeah, well, you'll see. Okay, so that's kind of working well. So that's literally just underpinning the chord progression. If we have a look what's going on in there, we really do just have 4 notes for the 4 chords. Let me just make this so it's the same size as your screen. There we go, right. Okay, we'll just quantize those, make them all the same length, make them all the same velocity. So on its own, very, very simple kind of sub bass, which is very typical that I've used across the album. In terms of processing on here, all I've done here is roll off all the top end. So all you hear is the sub bass from this patch. No other effects at all. What you're hearing is just straight out of the synths. The pluck sound actually is going through. If I show you what it's going through, I've set up a reverb and a delay. So the reverb I'm using is Black Hole. So yeah, the plucks are going to the black hole, and also those of you that know Native Instruments will know Replica. So the delays are all Replica, and there's also a Valhalla shimmer, which adds a kind of glistening reverb. So any effects that you hear are those 3, nothing else involved. So far we have this. So I'll just play it. Okay, so let's delve into, in fact, let me show you some of the kind of loops that come with this. So like I say, for all of the tracks, I've broken down the loops into the full drum loops, then I've taken out the kick, so you've just got the tops, and I've done, you know, a load of variations of the loops. So you get hi-hats with the claps, with the snares, with the ride cymbals, shakers, various mixtures of those. So let me just load in a couple of options in here to give you an example. So this is just from track 1 of the CD as an idea, to give you an idea of what we have. So let me just show you what I can see. So I'm also going to drag in just a few options so you can hear the kind of things that you can expect to find. And I've kind of done these as 8-bar loops just to make it really, really easy. But of course you can chop these up into smaller sections as you wish. It's really just to make it as quick and easy to use as possible. So here you can see that I have, I've just put in hat 1, ride, cymbal, percussion groove, SEM hats and light hats, for example. So if I play all those together, you're going to get this. So you've got 2 variations of the snare there, so they're basically different snares layered. Obviously you can chop those up and do as you wish with them. Shaker. So about the only thing that's missing now is a kick drum. So what I can do is show you kind of a range of the kick drums that are in here. Just bear with me. So for the kick drums, what I'm going to do is load up Battery. Again, it's another Native Instruments plugin that I use quite a bit, just to make it easy. So let me show you what I can see. So let me just record a kick drum in. Okay, right, just get rid of that for a second. Have a look in here. I'm going to make all the notes the same length, going to quantize them, and the same velocity. So what I'm going to do is go through some of the kick drums so you can hear them individually, and then we'll just choose one to go with, and we'll develop the track a little bit further. There's a ton of stuff in here. This is literally, we're just scratching the surface here of one of the tracks, and there's 8 tracks all full of loops and percussions and effects, ambiances as well. So we'll go through more of those. But first let's choose a kick drum. Okay, let's go with that one. That's kick drum number 13. So there's 16 kick drums in this particular folder. The emphasis isn't necessarily on the one-shot samples. It's more about the loops and the ambiances and the synth presets. If you want 100 kick drums, then by all means go buy a sample pack that comes with 100 kick drums. I've really focused on the quality of the sounds that are there. They're pre-mixed, so literally as I've mixed the tracks, I've bounced these out with all the EQ and the compression settings that I've used for the sound that I use for Hydra. So in terms of processing, you shouldn't really need to do an awful lot. So that's the kick drum. Let's move on to a clap. So we'll move on and find a clap. So again, I'll show you what I can see. Again, there's not a ton of these, maybe like 15 in here, and then there's another folder with some more, and each track has its own loops as well, which has different claps within them. But these are just the one-shot samples that you can drag into something like Battery. So let's just load. I'll go through some of these and we'll choose one. first of all, I'm going to just record actually. So let me just create a new track, call it clap, and then we'll go through the sounds. Okay, let's get back to the screen. Again, I'll just go through the usual process. We'll just quantize these claps, make them all the same length and the same velocity, and just get the level. I'm just going to put this clap on its own output as well, so we can mix this separately. So we'll put that on direct out 3 and 4. We'll put the kick onto direct out 1 and 2. So now when we look at the mixer, we'll see them on separate channels. So I'm just going to name these as we go along. So we have kick. On this channel we have clap. Okay, everyone has their own way of doing this, but I'm just going to get just a rough mix as we go. Okay, so I'm not crazy about that clap for this section, so I'm going to choose a different one. Okay, just for the sake of this demonstration, let's just go with that. Again, there's infinite variations you can play with here. Let's put in a bass line just for, just to build up a track. Again, there are presets for Repro 1, Repro 5 and Diva. I didn't want to go too far with this. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the £35 sample pack. You're getting an absolute ton for your investment here. So, there's a ton of stuff in here. So let's just load up Diva and I will find... So here are the presets that we included with Diva. So all the, if you think back, it's like the amber pluck is in here, Affinity, all the stuff from Affinity, and a few just typical sounds that I've used along the way. So I'll show you some of these. So like the Affinity pluck, for example. So yeah, you get the idea. So a couple of basses that I made. So I will just go with this bass line for this example, and we'll just build up the track a little bit more. So already, there's no EQ, there's no compression, there's nothing on here. I've literally tried to make everything as mix ready as possible. So what I'm going to do is just loop this 16 bar section with the kick and the clap. There's no arrangement going on here at the moment, of course. I'm literally just chucking in everything. So let's just call this Diva bass. Okay. I'm just going to record this straight in, and fingers crossed we don't mess up too much. Yeah, again, guys, don't forget, if you've got any questions about this, then do ask in the comments below and I will answer each and every single one of them. And also, if you go to my website or to Amplified, you can also find another package where I have literally provided 25 separate episodes of the making of Altered State. So, there were I think about 22 or 23 hours in total of production tutorials. A lot of the tracks in there you will recognize from the album if you know the album. There's also a lot of tracks in there that never made the album, so there's some really, really cool ideas that never made the album that I will maybe go on to finish anyway, so you might find that interesting to watch. You'll learn a lot about how I EQ my sounds, how I route my groups, how I treat my master channel, what plugins I use, how I go about side chaining, and what reverbs I use in combination with different, you know, all kinds of tricks that I use in the studio. So that might be of interest to you as well. So do check that out via my website. That will be available in the coming days. But anyway, let's get back to this sample pack. So just to give you a quick overview, this is what is on here. So basically we're looking at all the samples are 24 bits. You've got drum and percussion loops, one-shot samples. All the loops are broken down into layers, pads, sweeps, effects. So you can read this on for yourself, guys, on the screen. So you can get all the details from my website. You can buy it direct from my website, or you can buy it from Amplified as well. So whichever you choose, it's all good with me. So let's record the bass in and see where we go from here. Okay, so that was very rough and ready, but you know, I reckon it'll do just for this example. Again, I'm going to go in and just make sure all the notes are the same velocity, and just tidy it up a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see where this is going. Let's have a look at some more of the sounds. I'm just going to save this. You never know, this might end up actually being a track. I just started off with this simple kind of pluck idea. Again, what I'm going to do is just pull up my side screen here and yeah, let me show you some of the other sounds that I've got in here. I mean, honestly, there's 1.4 gigabytes of stuff, so there's no kind of shortage of options here. So so in fact, what I might do is just kind of mute the drums that we have just for a moment, or if we duplicate all this and just take them out in this section here, we have this sub bass as well. So if we go back to having just the pluck and the sub bass, and I can add in some other effects over the top to give you an idea of what you can expect. So I'm still trying to build just a bit of a, well, just a bit of interest, I guess. I'm going to drag a few more sounds in, guys, to give you more idea of what to expect. Oh, bear with me. So this is kind of one of the percussion sounds that I have on the track, the first track on the album, Standing on the Edge of Space. So it's kind of gives you an example of the kinds of things you can expect. So all these like one-off sounds that you hear, they're all here for you to play with. So in context, this would sound like this. I'm going to go through and just keep picking some more sounds to show you. This one's called Voyager Side Chain Effects. I've got no idea what this is, but I probably will want to hear it again. Okay, so it doesn't quite fit so well in key. I'll get rid of that. If I just show you some of these sounds. So if you know the track Standing on the Edge of Space, you'll hear these sounds at the beginning. So all these little effects, they're all in there as well. So anyway, let's move on to the second track, Chemistry, and we'll find a whole bunch of other stuff in there as well. So let's just pull in some more sounds. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here again. So one here called... Okay, so this is like a reverse clap. Sorry, a reverse crash with other kind of symbols combined within it. So let me just zoom into that and see how we can use that in context. So here we go. I'm also going to pull in some more hi-hats. Again, guys, I'm just showing you a very, very small cross-section of the stuff you will find on here. There's a ton of stuff. So this is another loop. So I'm just going to drop that in there. You can cut these up, you can speed them up, slow them down. This is running at 128 BPM at the moment. It's quite slow. It's really just to kind of give you an example. Let's have a look at some of the more pads. So because we're in the chemistry folder here, we can look at some of the sounds that I made for that. If I can find them again. Here we go, right, so chemistry, pads. So if you've heard the album, you probably recognise that sound. It's like one of the intro sounds. And again. So you get the idea. So all of these sounds can be pitched up, pitched down, put into the same key as the track you're working in. And the tracks go on. Of course, we've got Take Me With You, All That Matters, After the Rain, Crystalline, Aurelia, and The Last Time. And also, just as if that wasn't enough within this sample pack, I've also gone through every track from my album, the Thrillseekers, Escape, and I've done exactly the same thing. I've taken all the drums, all the percussion loops, and I've bounced down different loops and combinations of loops, sounds, and added those into like a bonus folder of sounds as well. So again, on top of the very, very little that I've shown you here, there's a ton more stuff. On top, of course, the Repro 1 and the Repro 5 and the Hydra sounds as well. So any questions that you do have, please ask me. I'm going to get back to each and every single one of you in the comments. I'll give you a link to download this pack, and also a link to download the making of Hydra, which will be about 20 hours of tutorials which you can download, where I discuss pretty much everything about my production process. So if you have any if you've ever thought, what reverbs do I use, what delays do I use, how do I combine strings, how do I layer synths and pads, you'll find all of the answers in there. So if you've if you rate my production in any way, then all the questions will be answered in there for you. So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time just going around and around in here, because I could literally spend another 10 hours just showing you sounds. But when I say all the best sounds from all the tracks within this pack, then yeah, they are basically. So this has been a very, very short introduction. Hope you like some of it. And I'll carry on a little bit more and just see if we can take this track somewhere else. So let's hear what we've got so far. Okay, so I mean, this has been a very crude kind of attempt to just throw a track together very, very quickly. What I will do actually is upload one of the Making of Hydra episodes, which will show you a lot more in depth how I go about my production process. So I will link that also below. So if you're interested in this, then head over to my website. This is what you can expect to download. Basically, once you kind of buy this, you'll get sent a unique email to download your files. 1.4 gigabytes, I believe. Tons of loops, tons of one shots, loads of pads, loads of effects, and you can use these in your productions however you wish. And the MIDI files are all there as well, so if you just want to see how I've made the melodies, how the chords work, then you can use those for educational purposes as well. What you can't do is just go and remake the tracks and put them out. Yeah, there is that kind of condition, but all the sounds you can use in your own productions as you wish, and I'm sure the music producers amongst you will find an absolute ton of stuff. Again, the emphasis is really on quality, but you will also find there's an absolute ton of quantity as well. So do check it out, and do let me know any questions in the links below. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. It really helps me kind of get visible to other music producers as well, both on Facebook and YouTube. And if you haven't listened to my album Altered State, please do. And if you're on Spotify, add it to your playlist. That again will help me massively reach a wider audience. So thank you. Hope that's been interesting. And yeah, go check it out. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.